basically they asked me what happens when you have a culture that have refused to discipline the child. What has happened? Is it wrong to use a cane? Is it wrong to apply pressure when you're raising children, especially at their formative years? I made it pretty clear. First of all, there is the principle of consequences. You need to give children consequences growing up. When you have a culture that deny children the opportunity to understand consequences, those children will go up and then they will find that their life is tougher than it should be because they've been allowed to get away with so many things that they should have been punished for. That's the truth. The whole idea of parenting is to provide an environment where the children learn systems and principles that become useful in later life. And one of those is a principle of consequences. There is consequence for action. There's consequence for behavior. And if because you don't want to offend a child, you don't punish, you realize the child will go up thinking that he can get away with anything. If you let your child get away with anything, you're ruining him. Because you see, when he hits the world, when he starts to work, when he interacts with other people, he will think the whole world is antisocial, actually. This does not mean that you have to now inflict physical pain on a child growing up. There are many ways that you can teach reward and punishment without necessarily becoming physically abusive. One of those could be let the child realize that he can lose privileges. He can lose access. Certain things can be cut off because of behaviors that don't align with principles. If a child behaves in a way that doesn't show integrity, you could let him understand that until he's able to win back the trust of the parent, certain privileges will be withdrawn. Now, that's consequence. The problem many times in Africa is that we're not used to talking with our children, having this level of interaction with respect and honor. That is how we know how to express it, by demonstrating punishment. And that in itself creates another kind of problem. They may learn and they become more afraid, and then they may coalesce, steal, agree, obey in the short term because they're trying to avoid pain, but they're not really learning any principles. So you can raise a child, teach him consequence without having to inflict any kind of physical pain. There are multiple ways that you can do this. I have worked with young people for 30 years, and in all those 30 years, I have never become physical with any one young person that I've ever worked with. And the reason for that is because we come to an understanding very early that the purposes for which you are here on this earth means that you must learn principles and you must build systems. And I'm here to walk you through that process. If you do something worthy of punitive measures, we're going to take them. And then you will understand that we care about you, we love you. And it's part of the growth process, helping you to become everything that you can be. I hope this helps someone.